I wanted the new iPhone and found an ad on Craigslist for a girl selling hers for $100. It was about $25 cheaper than the other ads for the same phone. I gave the girl a call and she tells me that she decided to switch to the Samsung Galaxy. She had no use for the iPhone anymore. I agreed to meet up with her and she said her baby was sick and asked if I could come over to her house. She seemed harmless, so I agreed. She gives me her address and I put it into my GPS. She lives in the next town over and it takes about 30 minutes to get there. I arrive at the apartment complex and am a little surprised to see that they look like low-income apartments, kinda in a bad part of town. I called her and told her that I was there. While I'm sitting in my car and waiting for her to come down, I see a guy sitting over in a black Ford truck just staring at me and grinning the entire time, which kinda creeped me out. I was feeling very uneasy about the situation. And then suddenly, I almost shit my pants when the passenger door opened and a man jumped in. He pulled a gun and said, "Give me what you got now." The guy was skinny and pale and looked like a crackhead. I probably weighed more than he did. It may have been stupid, but I had took a lot of self-defense courses and I quickly reacted by busting him in the nose with my right elbow. I took the gun away from him with my left hand and pointed it at him. I told him, "Get the hell out of my car." He did, and I sped off. I called the police. Come to find out, the woman and her husband's brother had done the same thing to 6 other victims. They all stole their money and threatened to kill them if they went to the police. They are still serving time in prison for their crimes. I decided to sell my Sony camera on Craigslist. The retail price was $120 and I was only asking $80 for it. I had no use for it anymore because I had got a new one, a better one. Some guy emailed me and said he wanted to meet with me to get the camera. I told him I would meet him at TJ Mulligan's, which was a restaurant just down the road from my house. I didn't think about anything bad happening if I met him somewhere in public. So I get there and call him and he said he was already there waiting. He said he was in the corner booth. I spot him and he was the creepiest looking guy I had ever seen. He had long, greasy black hair, a trench coat, and super tight jeans on. I approach him and he starts smiling. I showed him the camera and he asked to buy me something to eat. I didn't want to spend any more time with this guy than I had to, so I declined. He handed me the $80 and then asked about getting me something to drink. I agree and he calls the waitress over. When our drinks arrive a few minutes later, he says, "Oh cool, look at that," and points out the front of the window to something on the sidewalk. I turn to see what he was pointing at, and from the corner of my eye, I see him drop something into my drink. I told him I had to be somewhere and left as fast as possible. He hasn't contacted me again. So I was selling some clothes on Craigslist that no longer fit me anymore. One day, a man called and asked, "Will you model the clothes for me?" I was disgusted at his repulsive question. "No," I told him, "and don't call back." He proceeded to call me again for the next 6 months. Sometimes it was just heavy breathing, sometimes it was vulgar language about the things he wanted to do to me. He always called from a Skype number, and so the number changed every time he called me. I would lay in bed at night, too scared to sleep, jumping at every sound. The cops couldn't really do anything because they couldn't track him. I felt like I was always being watched. Finally, I broke down and changed my number. And then I moved, just to be safe.